เอาละครับก่อนที่เราเนี่ยจะได้ชมแฮร์รี่พอตเตอร์กับเครื่องรางยมทูตภาค2หรือบทสรุปของแฮร์รี่พอตเตอร์เนี่ยท้าความถึงภาคหนึ่งก่อนได้ไหมสำหรับท่านผู้ชมบางคนที่อาจจะจำไม่ได้หรือนึกไม่ออก
คืออย่างนี้ภาคแรกเนี่ยก็จะเริ่มต้นด้วย3สหายแฮร์รี่รอนเฮอร์ไมนี่ออกจากฮอกวอตส์หลังจากอาจารย์ดัมเบิลดอร์ได้เสียชีวิตไปเพื่อไปค้นหาฮอร์ครักซ์ซึ่งถือว่าเป็นเครื่องรางที่นำมาสลายวิญญาณของวอลเดมอร์
คือเครื่องรางยมทูตนั่นเอง
นั่นแหละแล้วก็วอลเดมอร์เองก็ได้สั่งให้อสูรทั้งหลายผู้เสพความตายสมุนที่ร้ายกาจที่สุดระดมแถมถึงขั้นให้รางวัลจับตายเลยว่าเจอที่ไหนให้จับกลับมาเรื่องก็เลยจบตรงที่วอลเดมอร์ไปเปิดหลุมศพของอาจารย์ดัมเบิลดอร์เพื่อเอาไม้กายสิทธิ์ซึ่งถือว่าเป็นหนึ่งในองค์ประกอบที่นำมาสังหารแฮร์รี่พอตเตอร์นั่นแหละ 7.1 หรือว่าภาคหนึ่งของเครื่องรางยมทูตจบตรงนั้นถูกต้อง
อาวุธที่จะฆ่าแฮร์รี่พอตเตอร์ได้อยู่ในมือของคนที่ต้องการฆ่าแล้ว
ถูกต้อง
แล้วสิ่งที่แฮร์รี่พอตเตอร์ไปหาก็เพื่อจะหามาฆ่าคนนี้
ถูกต้อง
ใครจะอยู่ใครจะไปบอกได้ไหมครับ
คงไม่จุใจเท่ากับเบื้องหลังชุดพิเศษที่เรา2คนมาฝากแฟนๆวันนี้
จริงๆมีพี่เฮนรี่เนี่ยไม่เคยดูของธรรมดาอยู่แล้วครับท่านผู้ชมครับเราได้ชมตัวอย่างไปแล้ว
ใช่
แล้วตอนนี้เราจะได้ชมเบื้องหลัง
ของ
แฮร์รี่พอตเตอร์บทสรุปแฮร์รี่พอตเตอร์
ถูกต้อง
ไปชมเลยครับ
เสกเดี๋ยวนี้เลยครับ
Harry Potter You have fought valiantly but you have allowed your friends to die for you rather than face me yourself On this night join me and confront your fate
It's very exciting.
Come on!
It's a really fast ride.
We can end this. We want to make this one the best one ever, really.
I never wanted any of you to die for me.
It ties up every single loose end of the whole saga. The scale of this one just feels enormous.
Only I can live forever.
There's something about part 1 that's quite ominous and quite haunting.
They are coming. They are coming.
The Ministry has fallen under the control of Voldemort and the Death Eaters. Harry is sort of the holy grail for Voldemort, and so they have to get him out as fast as humanly possible.
Go!
Voldemort has split his soul into 7 pieces to make him immortal. He's hidden these 7 pieces of his soul in different objects. Harry, Hermione and Ron have to find the Horcruxes and destroy them one by one. It's quite a daunting task. I'm trying to do all of this without anyone recognising them.
Like any good thriller, it's twists and turns and intrigue.
Dumbledore leaves Hermione a children's book, which is sort of puzzling. It only comes to have real meaning at the end of part 1. When she sees a symbol in it, she doesn't really recognise the Deathly Hallows.
Well, it's the sign of the Deathly Hallows, of course.
The Outer Wand. The Resurrection Stone. The Cloak of Invisibility. Together, they make one Master of Death.
We end up in the middle of a firefight.
We get captured and taken to Malfoy Manor. If they can't find it's Harry, it's all over, really.
Dobby basically helps us to escape. Dobby! Help me!
He's really quite devastated. He feels more than ever the need to challenge and to defeat the Dark Lord. We find Harry at the beginning of Part 2 in Shell Cottage, and Harry believes that Voldemort has the Elder Wand.
If it's true, I'm afraid you really don't stand a chance.
so the challenge that faces Harry is greater than ever. If he doesn't find the Horcruxes, then there is no hope of victory.
We break into Gringotts Bank to get into Bellatrix's vault to find one of the other Horcruxes. It's a bank heist, basically. And there are a number of obstacles along the way. Including a big dragon.
That doesn't sound good.
We come back to Hogwarts to find another one of Voldemort's Horcruxes.
There's something we need to find. Something hidden here in the castle.
It's a fight against time because Voldemort's attacking the castle. And they've got to try and find it before he gets in.
Snape's taken over as headmaster, and it's not the Hogwarts that Harry used to leave Privet Drive and go to Hogwarts for Sanctuary.
Hogwarts is in a state of lockdown. All the magic's gone. Voldemort is on the cusp of power. He feels incredibly strong, but then he discovers that Harry's been hunting Horcruxes.
Voldemort knows that as each Horcrux is destroyed, he loses his power, and once he realizes Harry's on to his secret, then there's a sort of crazy person's determination just to keep going.
He becomes even scarier. Anything could happen.
Harry works his way through this extraordinary journey with these extraordinary obstacles. And it's not just monsters and dragons and Voldemort. It also comes down to his own sense of self. And whether or not he can see it through.
The boy who lived, come to die.
All these books and furniture from the castle are kind of stored in this room of requirements.
We've seen some pretty amazing sets, but nothing for attention to detail and just grandness. The room of requirement this year was incredible. They literally filled it with more stuff than you can ever imagine.
The room of requirements is where Harry has to find one of the Horcruxes.
So we end up chasing him in there.
What brings you here, Potter?
Spells fly left, right and centre. Crabbe can't quite control himself and manages to set the bloody place on fire.
The whole place ignites with these fiend fire creatures who start to consume everything with fire. And Harry, Ron and Hermione have to escape.
It's a mixture of special effects, and they also have these real flambeaux, and it certainly heats the room up pretty quickly. You certainly feel like you're on fire.
Draco and the boys decide to climb rather than run. And that's the worst thing they could have done.
We had to rig that so that all of the furniture was shaky and wobbly while they were climbing, but of course was completely safe.
We just want to make some of it a bit more rickety, so as they're climbing up it moves a bit when they get their foot on it.
Meanwhile, our trio find some brooms and go into the air.
It was good to be back on the river, actually.
It's a great action sequence. And we've got plenty of them in this film.
It's the concluding chapter of that universal age-old battle of what's right and what's wrong. We needed to come out with a big bang.
I actually looked at the cast list. It was absolutely staggering. It really was like the way you imagine it must have been like at MGM in about 1938, where they just threw everything at it, you know.
Voldemort's using multiple armies of giants and snatchers and Death Eaters.
All sorts of creatures come out of the woodwork, spiders and monsters of all shapes and sizes.
We arrive at Hogwarts, see it in all its grandeur, and then see it destroyed in battle. That's a really odd feeling, because I've seen it built and I've seen it knocked down.
It's kind of sad to see all these sets we've kind of grown up with just destroyed, really. All this rubble everywhere. It's quite shocking, actually.
And just because the battle starts, it doesn't mean the rest of the film stops. Because all the other characters and all the other relationships and all the other stories carry on in the back.
Hermione's just pretty heroic through the whole thing. She keeps a cool head in some difficult situations.
Even Mrs. Weasley has her moment.
And Neville's really just evolved so much over the years. Suddenly he was this reckless freedom fighter. Are you alright? Never better. I feel like I could spit fire.
In the book, the standoff between Harry and Voldemort happens in the Great Hall. I just wanted more of a fight. We have them racing through the school and dueling with each other.
Voldemort's just throwing everything at him. It's an assault on every aspect of Harry's magical powers.
Dan and Rafe must be seriously fit by now, as we've spent 2 to 3 weeks on the marble staircase set. Mainly Dan, he's running up and down, as Rafe seems to be apparating above him and below him.
I must have done more stairs in that scene than I have in my own home throughout my childhood.
Come on, Tom. Let's finish this the way we started it.
Your heart's gonna race. Together. It's a really very intense ending.
There's so much at stake because we are very much invested with Dan, Rupert, and Emma, and so many of the other characters. This could be their last moment.
เอาละครับคุณผู้ชมครับได้ชมทั้งตัวอย่างภาพยนตร์เบื้องหลังการถ่ายทำผมอดใจไม่ไหวแล้วครับพี่เอกผมอยากดูใจจะขาดแล้วนะ
เหมือนกัน เราสองคนต้องรออีก12 วัน
โอ้โหยาวนานมาก
แต่ตอนนี้ไม่ต้องรอครับเราไปชมโฆษณาสักครู่หนึ่งเดี๋ยวเรากลับมาพบกับสาระที่หาชมได้เฉพาะที่นี่ครับ